I would say that Obama lacks a strategic vision for South Asia. He doesn't see anything beyond this immediate visit. I think that's been a problem with this administration. He's obsessed with the Middle East. He's obsessed with East Asia. I don't think South Asia. And whether it's Pakistan or Afghanistan, I think he wants it to go west.
Which, Professor Cohen, is a very interesting point you raised, because as we were, driving up to Washington, and somebody made the observation that, these two gentlemen are at two very different stages of their individual political careers. I mean, actually, Modi is probably 10 years older to Obama. But the fact is that Obama is at the end of his presidency and Modi has just begun, right? And Obama has lot of problems, and Modi, as of now, is still in the honeymoon period. So for two leaders to engage, the fact that they are in two different stages of their political career, will that be an impediment? Would it have been better to speak to a fresh president who has a long presidency ahead of him, not completely distracted with Syria?
But you don't have that fresh presidency with a long presidency.
We can't wait 2 years.
You deal with who you have.
You gotta have, this is.
And these are both highly intelligent men.
Oh, yes.
Enough diplomats often have said, and we have diplomats here, that foreign policies don't change because of individuals. I mean, however much importance we may attribute to one president or the other.
Yeah.
I think there is a certain consistency in national policy, national interests. America has its own interests, India has its own interests, and I think we just need to understand each other more. We need to talk to each other more. Every American doesn't have the expertise of Professor Cohen and Ambassador Schaffer, because they have really spent time in the region. What I want to bring out is, that I think in the case of Pakistan, it was a point that Professor Cohen knows perhaps very well, but my views are slightly different on that. I think Pakistan's not been made to feel the pain for all its activities which go against the international norms that the world is moving in the direction of. And Pakistan has the military in Pakistan, which is a monster and an establishment and an entity in its own right, and the largest political party in Pakistan, has two sources of support. Its own financial strength, which comes from the Fauji Foundation, where they make much more money in 1 year than America paid them over 5 years. And the second is the Chinese support that they continue to enjoy as an all-weather friend and ally. And therefore, America should rather invest in a country like India, which has ticked virtually all the boxes that an honest American diplomat would turn around and say, here's the country that I'm looking to do business with. And it's still, at the end of the day, we are still being told that, wait, your time will come, or you have a new president and we have an old prime minister, or vice versa. I think individuals will come and go. I think Modi has now shown that he's willing to move forward. He has also shown, please remember, considerable magnanimity in coming to America and not mentioning the fact that he was denied a visa all these years. So, you've got to give a man credit for that. He's moved beyond that. Let us move beyond the past. Let us look at a future in which we two democracies one day can dance together.
Just a quick point on that, and that is that, again, I remind everyone that the United States business community are the largest group of investors in India, bar none. And we want to continue to be that way. You mentioned commitment to India. GE has been there for 112 years. Citibank, 115 years. Abbott, 70 years. These are major commitments.
Sorry, they're not philanthropists.
Major investors. And so now the issue is, how do we create a business climate, a business environment that regenerates a complete enthusiasm back in India? And that's what we're trying to do.
Take back the immigration reform bill and all the things there which stop
the outplacement provision has to go, and I agree.
You agree with me on that?
The outplacement provision has to go.
You want our economy to open up to you, allow talented Indians to work, do business,
let's work on
build
tax clarity, let's work on intellectual property,
opportunities for
all
Indians.
Important issues.
Unleash India's entrepreneurial potential on your soil.
And that DNA has got to be very important.
You think it will come?
That's exactly what's going to happen. We've seen it in Gujarat. The chief minister of Gujarat, Narendra Modi, has dynamically developed the state, 3-time elected chief minister. He's now running the country. We're very very confident that he's going to put these kinds of pro-business policies in place for all of India.
You know, there is such an agenda, but I feel there is openness and there is potential. I spoke to a lot of Indians and they said, what are the critical hard issues for you? They said, we want technology transfers in defense, right? Don't give us the technology.
How much has changed in the technology transfer field in the past 20 years?
Well, I'm sure it has.
It's really
but not
quite
enough
astonishing.
for the Indians to be very happy.
But look, the Indians will never be completely happy. We will never be completely happy. That's life. You know, you have great soaring ambitions.
Sikorsky,
so do we.
Okay. I want to know whether Mr. Seshadri Chari, you know, we sort of left the conversation with him. He provoked everyone here, all of us. Not me though, or not Maroof, but he provoked some of you. And then I don't think we went back to him. Seshadri Chari, we're now about 6 minutes from Narendra Modi's speech at the Council for Foreign Relations. Anything you'd like to say to Professor Stephen Cohen, Ambassador Schaffer, on Ron Somers, all of whom responded to you? Very quickly, 2 minutes. Left to go. 2 minutes, Seshadri Chari only.
No, let me clarify. My intention is not to provoke anybody, but I'm just making a point. And if this is going to be another provocation, let me tell you one thing. For the US, the policies are all compartmentalized. They can do business with China, they can do business with India, they can do business with Pakistan. But at the same time, their strategic interest vis-a-vis Pakistan, China, India can also be independently maintained. But as far as India is concerned, as far as the Asian region is concerned, we cannot segregate the strategic interest, the business interest, the political interest, and also our diplomatic and political interest separately. We will have to look at all this in a wholesome manner. If you look at all this in a wholesome manner, that is exactly where the problem starts. You know, we have a very serious problem. For the US, they can tell India not to deal with Burma, which they have done. And we have lost precious strategic area, scope and elbow space in Burma to China. We have lost it in Sri Lanka, we have lost it in Pakistan, we have lost it in Afghanistan, we have lost it in Iran. So these things have taken place. So we cannot be doing business and strategic interest as a separate entities. We have to combine these two as far as our developmental issues are concerned. For the USA, it's very easy to tell, and it was the same Mr. Obama who said that China is the a natural leader of Asia, and the Asian pivot idea that he proposed. And now he will have to recalibrate India's policy. And please tell me, when was the last time the State Department spoke to India about their India policy vis-a-vis Pakistan policy? They have not discussed this at all. So I think these are some of the issues that we will have to sit across and talk. This is not a bilateral visit of Modi to Obama.
And one thing let me tell you. Okay, we've got the live feed from the CFR New York. I need to give my American participants an opportunity to respond to you, because otherwise we'll go into the speech if they choose to, of course. You know, why can't there be a straightforward conversation between India and America on the issue of Pakistan?
It will be.
I think we will be in favor of it.
Yeah, you'd be in favor of it?
Yes.
It will be, absolutely yes. But again, defining partnership of the 21st century, global partners, natural global partners, as Narendra Modi said yesterday, the bottom line is put some meat behind it now, and this is our chance.
Okay,
but,
Professor Cohen.
It's bizarre that an Indian would want us to rehyphenate India and Pakistan when after it happened.
No, I don't think he's saying rehyphenation. He's saying have a conversation on the problems emanating from Pakistan.
He's right. Chari's right. We've separated them in our policy, India policy, Pakistan policy.
But why is America squeamish about talking about Pakistan?
We do need to talk to India about Pakistan. I agree.
But is there an amount of squeamishness? Because it's a problem you created.
They're treated separately. Pakistan is seen as part of Afghanistan.
No, because if you look back historically, Professor Cohen, you have a deep understanding of the region. You know, America could have intervened in Pakistan a long time back.
But you want us to intervene in Pakistan. India should be intervening in Afghanistan. A larger role for India. That's, I think you're looking too small.
No, we don't provide military assistance to...
Well, that's part of the problem. India should resume the role it used to have many years ago.
Okay, so Professor Cohen, Maroof, now we are building up to CFR. Well, what is Modi going to say, which will be different or which will be an add-on, in your view, to what he said at Anga 2 days back?
Yeah, before I go to that, on just 2 quick points. One is that I think it always surprises me that Washington has perhaps the largest collection of think tanks anywhere in the world. But I think the terms of reference of thinking in think tanks are set out before the reports are written. So therefore, they end up taking a direction which then puts America not saying anything different that it's said in the last 5-10 years on a subject like Pakistan or China, then what we expect from America to come out. And I think the second thing is, and I brought that point out earlier, I think Indians are not aggressive enough to pitch for their own case. I think this is a serious shortcoming of our diplomatic community. We have one of the smallest diplomatic cadres for the size of our country. We have a smaller diplomatic corps than Singapore and New Zealand, and consider their population, consider India's population, and we still want to punch in the big league. I think there is a problem in South Bloc also. We must recognize that.
Yeah, but this is, I mean,
having said that, I think Mr. Modi is going to
twice as many for diplomats won't make America change their mind.
No, but I think we need to pitch in much better. You do a much better job.
Political leadership should be pitching in much better.
You do a much better job pitching in.
I was just going to say that Maroof had talked about the importance of our seriously understanding each other's interests, and I think that's what it really comes down to. I mean, you can't set conditions for what U.S. policy can be. We can't set conditions for what India's policy can be. But we do have to talk to each other, not just at each other.
We have to talk.
But I think a significant conversation is now beginning, because there's a sustained interest in India's place in the world, and therefore, the sense I get and the sense that I can bring you when I come from India is that India wants its place among the global elite. It already is, and it must find its place. That as that happens, there needs to be a necessary, serious calibration of the relationship with America, and we need to take that risk. It may work out, it may not work out, but not to give it an opportunity.
It's worth the risk. Believe me,
will not be worth it. Ron,
100%. Jai Hind. I mean, in the end, it's going to happen today. Mr. Modi and Mr. Obama are going to talk. They're going to have an absolute discussion. Afghanistan is going to be central to that discussion. Business community has already had their moment this morning, and they'll have their moment tomorrow afternoon.
Obama साहब मोदी साहब का स्वागत करेंगे, बहुत खुशी से स्वागत करेंगे.
खुशी से करेंगे.
हाँ, बिल्कुल.
वो तो बहुत प्रॉब्लम्स में है आजकल. वो उनके इतने अपने इतने प्रॉब्लम. हाँ,
प्रॉब्लम्स तो होते ही हैं.
क्योंकि इतनी सरदर्द हो रही है उनको दूसरी चीजों से. But well said. I mean, I must appreciate. By the way, that comes from years of being in both Pakistan and India. People would welcome that. Thank you very much, Ambassador, for surprising our audience out there.
दोनों बातचीत के बाद क्या होगा? एक हफ्ते से, एक महीने से क्या बात है?
एक महीने से? पता नहीं क्या बात हो रही है.
Well, that's
मैं कुछ कहना चाहूंगा आपको.
That's the measure of this.
I would like to say something to you. आप पाकिस्तान के बारे में कुछ कीजिए और फिर पाकिस्तान के लोगों को समझाइए कि वो गलत कर रहे हैं, और शायद आपके पास वो पावर और इन्फ्लुएंस है पाकिस्तान पर कुछ दबाव डालने के लिए. दबाव means pressures. My Hindi is not good, but I hope I've communicated that to you from our studio. Ambassador, a quick word. I think I just would like an update, or you're talking about Modi followed in. What's going to be different?
I think what Mr. Modi is going to do is
give me 5 or 6 key points.
First is that he's going to really want to energize the business partnership and the trade relationship. I think defense areas we've moved forward primarily because India was desperate for new technology. Mr. Anthony, our last defense minister, took the shorter route of the FMS, which was a government-to-government deal, and it was easier for him and not to get into controversy. But I think India is wanting more DPP-related business, defense-related technology coming into. So there's that one area. Professor Cohen has made that point very well at the start of the debate. I think the second area is going to be, I think Modi should really offer even visiting visas for American businessmen to come to India, visa on arrival. I mean, why just restrict it to PIOs and OCIs and NRIs? I mean, the visa should be given to, they're coming for India's good. What's the problem? Those people who really, Hafiz Saeed and his gang never arrived in India with visas when they did what they did in 2011. So what are we talking about?
Simple point is, Professor Cohen, Ambassador Schaffer, and Ron Thomas, the point is that we would like to have a very strong relationship with you, but we would also, you want us to do a lot of things your way. We now, for the first time, are saying, we want the Americans to do a lot of things our way.
This is not the first time.
No, I mean, it's
not the first time.
It's in a strong way.
It is bilkul not the first time.
Arnab,
but it is a reasonable time, nevertheless, to make the point again.
Looking back,
because there's more business on the plate.
The visas the Chinese way.
Arnab, the one single area which we often don't talk about there are these big ticket companies and the big firms which want to do business in India. But really the core of business, whether with the United States or even in the neighborhood, has to come from small and medium enterprises. You have to encourage more of them to do business, and that's where the boom is going to come from.
Absolutely. Seshadri Chari.
About that the next time we get together.
Seshadri Chari. And by the way, Modi should be coming at CFR anytime. There's a quick run-up to that. I think he's running 4 or 5 minutes late already. Yes, please, Mr. Chari.
Yeah, Arnab, I don't want to end this discussion on a very serious note. So I just told one of the correspondents from the US newspapers very recently that Indo-US relationship is like a traditional Indian marriage. There are problems, there are ups and downs, but the divorce never comes.
That's a fair point.
But we're always on a barat. We're always on a barat last 10 years.
Yeah, and Professor Stephen Cohen says that India and America have been on a barat
For 10 years, 20 years.
For the last 10 years.
That's a long
well, I feel here that in a way the people of India, the government of India are confident enough and strong enough and resolute enough and sure enough of where they stand in the world to do business with America. Here is America's opportunity. America has to reach out as much, if not more. It has to step up to the plate if it wants to re-engage India, because it was America which chose more than 50 years back to start dealing with Pakistan, and look at the way Pakistan has turned out. Nobody wants to hyphenate the relationship, but look where India is, look where Pakistan is, look where the problems of the world are, and let's see what Modi says at the CFR speech. I'm going to take a very short break. This is live and continuing coverage from Washington. I'll be back on the other side. Ron Sommers, Ambassador Schaffer, Professor Cohen, and Maroof stays on, of course. Thank you very much for joining me on this very, very interesting panel. Viewers, don't go away. We'll be back with the live speech that Mr. Modi will make.